The UFC 6 gameplay trailer is released, and we finally have some solid information to go on. I was unimpressed with the initial UFC 6 hype trailer, even though I should be the exact audience for the game, given that I run a moderately sized UFC 5 channel. I have not pre-ordered the game yet. I'm not yet committed to playing it or making videos for it. That being said, there are things I like in this trailer, there are a couple things that give me pause, and I have a major concern that may be a showstopper for me personally. First, let's give the devil his due and discuss the good things. Fighter uniqueness. In UFC 5, most fighters do not feel very distinct. Most good strikers are 90 to 95% similar in how they're used. The main focus of the trailer seems to be fighter uniqueness, and that's a wise decision. Let's talk about multiple blocking styles. We have a balanced style, which is the same as in 5, evasive, which features a weak block but faster and more efficient evasion, sturdy, which is the opposite, strong block but slower movement, and the Philly shell, which covers the head and the body but leaves an opening for the right hand. I can easily see one or more of these options being overpowered or annoying. That's the downside to more fighter uniqueness, more opportunities for bullshit. My money's on the evasive style being the most aggravating. Slip spam is already a huge issue in 5. Half the Division 20 players slip or pull after every punch they throw without too much punishment. This block style is probably going to make Anderson Silva or Michael Page even more enervating. Philly shell's another candidate though. I can't see more than a few fighters having it, but the ability to cover the head and body partially will be a huge headache for average players. Depends on how vulnerable it is to the right hand. The shell is meant to have an opening for rear hand strikes and closed stance. Parries also have been added to the game. According to EA's website, you can parry by blocking while pulling. Seems like this is more of a defensive move rather than something that will open up a counter window. It's a way to preserve your block. I think many players will alternate between pulling hands down and parrying to try and defend everything while getting the occasional counter. It needs to have sufficient vulnerability to the body and legs in order to make it balanced. Though I do find the idea of parrying with my man Dustin Poirier's signature hillbilly shell quite appealing. Jerry shows off the ability to slip moving backwards and shift stances in the trailer. That is pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of shifting footwork. It's unclear if this is a feature of the evasive guard or custom to Jerry. If it's custom, then perhaps they added forward-moving shifting footwork for fighters like Volkanovski or Poirier. Lastly, there seems to be a bevy of new animations for strikes, though I must say, I don't like the looks of some of these. They look a little awkward, slow in some cases. Jerry's punches reminded me of the animations in Undisputed, which is not a good thing. Now, as for the flow state, I hated the flow state when I first heard about it. Seeing more of the information, I'm a little less negative, but I still don't love it. It's very arcadey, very fitting with other EA Sports games. The look of it is very distracting. I hate it. I also feel this is going to add yet more opportunities for bullshit. However, it does help with fighter uniqueness as well. There are multiple different flow states that are based on the perks the fighter has. Your perks determine what you do to charge your flow state, and it seems like there's going to be quite a variety of different flow state buffs. That being said, I know some fighters are going to have an OP flow state that they get 5 times a round, and other fighters are going to have a shitty flow state that they get once a fight. Now for my real issue. I don't like how the game looks. I don't like the UI, and I don't like the fighter models. Is the Poeton on the right more realistic than the one on the left? I suppose so. Do I like how it looks? God, no. UFC 6 Alex Pereira is not real. He can't hurt you. Actually, that's not true. He can hurt you. He has a very mean left hook. But what I really hate is the lighting. Everything's blasted with light. It's supposed to look next gen, and I suppose it does. But there's something uncanny about it. It looks too slick, too wet. Okay, when I say this, keep in mind I have no inside info. I don't know anyone at EA. I'm as connected as any of you are. What it reminds me of is the trailer for NVIDIA's DLSS 5. That's their upcoming upscaling tech that applies a generative AI filter to the texture and lighting of games. You thought a human game dev should be in charge of the art direction for this game? Not anymore. Now it's up to Jensen Huang, and he's going to base it on his favorite AI porno. To be clear, I'm not saying this game uses DLSS 5. That's not out until the end of the year. But, and I must emphasize this is based entirely on the eye test, it has that generative AI look to it. Now perhaps that's merely coincidental. It could be convergent evolution. It may be unfair speculation on my part, but it's an unfair world we live in. If generative AI was used for in-game assets, that's a problem for me. Now, I know that all game studios, like pretty much all businesses, use AI for productivity and coding. I was going to say that's fine with me, but it's really not. It sucks. I hate it. But I can accept it as an unfortunate reality. However, the use of AI for game assets is a completely different kettle of fish. For me personally, it's a red line. I'm not going to go into my reasoning for a video like this, but as far as I'm concerned, it is obscene to use AI for any creative endeavor, and yes, even EA sports games count as creative works. There's no question that EA uses AI. They'll tell you proudly on their own website they do. The question is, how is it being used? I may be on a hair trigger here. I was burned earlier in the year by Crimson Desert. The Pearl Abyss devs said the game was handcrafted. There was no AI disclosure on their Steam page. I bought the game, and then it turned out to be full of AI slop. Game studios seem to have determined that really we have no right to know the extent to which AI is used. And furthermore, there are absolutely no consequences for them lying about it. Now, this may not be an issue for you. Tolerance for AI is highly variable. On the one extreme, you've got the Silicon Valley fanatics, who yearn to be killed by their creation. They're not afraid to let their body die. Long live the new flesh. On the other end, you've got people who are militantly opposed to AI and the black tombstone data centers popping up all over the country. Right in the middle, the average person doesn't want to lose their job or their life to AI, but they're okay with using it and even paying a monthly subscription. They don't want data centers near them, but they support building them near others. They don't like AI slop, but they will pay for a game that has AI slop in it, so long as it's not excessively sloppy. I'm right here. I'm about as anti-AI as you can be while still being willing to use the internet. I hate this shit. If I knew for sure that the game had generative AI in it, I'd already be out. Watching the trailer, I almost wanted to hear, "Thanks to the power of AI," so I could be relieved of any ambiguity. Cool, I don't need to play this. Instead, I have to determine whether my ignorance is sufficient defense against AI. Can I convince myself that EA execs recently fell off their donkey on the way to Damascus and no longer push their devs to use AI? Is it enough to just not know for sure? I was hoping to get one more year of new video games, and movies, books, music, etc. Now I'm thinking I may already be done with new things. I'm not happy, either way. I really like making videos for UFC 5. I even like playing 5 despite its many flaws. Maybe if this game came out last year, I could have looked past it. But I get a little more anti-AI with each passing day, and watching this trailer filled me with an unease that I don't think I can move past. I suppose I'll spend the next few weeks thinking it over, and I'll try to make a few more videos for UFC 5 while the getting is still good. You'll have to make up your own mind, of course. Though I doubt too many people will be bothered by this to the extent that I am. Maybe it's best to just not think about it.